Hello. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about the first black eye I ever got from my significant other and why I didn't dump him then and there. So it started out, I used to work at the mall. A guy couldn't find his phone, and so he asked to borrow mine to see if he can locate it in his backpack. I was like, sure, why not? Turns out he's just doing it to get my phone number, and it's like a whatever. I told him I wasn't interested. I had a boyfriend, but he kept calling and texting every single day, and I just kept saying the same thing. I'm not interested. Leave me alone. And eventually, just kind of stopped responding and hoping that he'd get the hint. And my significant other saw these texts and went on a crazy jealousy rampage. And he called the gentleman and was like, I can't believe my girlfriend's sleeping around on me. I can't believe she's doing you. I'm going to find out who you are, where you work, and where your family lives, and I'm going to make you suffer, and blah, 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 blah. And went on for a while, and then finally he was like, just tell me you're sleeping with her, and I'm going to dump her and throw her out right now. Just tell me you're sleeping with her. And the dude took the opening that my boyfriend gave him, and was like, yeah, man, I'm sleeping with her. I'm effing your girl so much better than you ever could. And then my significant other just hung up the phone and was like, fine. And then he hung up the phone, he went inside the house, and he started throwing all my property out onto the lawn, destroying my makeup, destroying my clothes. He's throwing everything in the mud. He took my phone. It was a flip phone. That's how long ago it was. He broke it in half, took out the battery, tried to destroy the battery. He took my car key as one of those little clicker car keys, and he like smashed it and was hitting it with things to break it. So he did end up breaking my car key, so I couldn't use the clicker anymore. And he bent the key, so I couldn't even use the key anymore. So that was great. And then went inside and he was getting more stuff, and I was trying to go inside to save what I could, and I was grabbing stuff to try to like get it out before he could destroy it. And then he started grabbing stuff from me and then throwing it at me. And then I ended up against the wall while he was throwing items, and I was like kind of curled up. And then he got to a little one of those plastic dressers that have the wheels on the bottom. The plastic drawers, really cheap things. He started taking the items out of that and throwing it at me. So he threw shoes at me, he threw my curling iron at me, he threw my straighteners at me, he threw my hairdryer at me, and they kept, hitting the walls by me, and I was like freaking out that they're gonna hit me. And then he started throwing the drawers. It had two drawers, so he took one drawer out and he threw it. Then he grabbed the whole frame, and the second drawer fell out, and he threw the frame and it hit the wall by me, and then it busted. And then he kicked as hard as he could the second drawer, and it hit me in the face, in the eye. So I was covering my face, but I was covering my face like this, and so one eye ended up being exposed, and my eyes were closed. So I didn't think about it or realize it until it was too late, and it busted my face open. So I had my eye, all the white part was gone, is all blood. My cheek and my, this whole area was just black and blue, swelled up immediately. It looked bad. I think I even got a little cut on my face. It didn't scar, but it was bleeding too. And then he kept throwing stuff at me. It took him quite a while to realize that I was sitting there screaming and crying because I was bleeding and my eye was red. And then I think he finally got a glimpse of what he had done, and he immediately stopped and went running to the rescue, be the big hero. And he's like, oh my God. And he's like, wait right here, don't move. And he ran upstairs and he got ice, and he's like, hold still. And like, I didn't want him touching me. Where are you going? She's moving around. He tried to hold the ice on me, and I was like, I don't want you touching me. No, don't touch me. And then he's like, I need to hold the ice on it so that it doesn't swell up. I'm like, it's already swollen up, and I don't want you touching me. But he's such a control freak that he couldn't even let me hold the ice on myself, and he had to do it and be the hero, even though he's the one that did it. So finally he let me hold the ice on it, and then he went and he called his mom and told her, like, I hurt Rose, and handed the phone to me because I could hear her yelling, and she's like, okay, Rose, so I don't want you to tell Mike where you're going, but would you feel comfortable meeting me at the Walgreens down the street? And I was like, yeah, I think I can do that, but he broke my car key. And then he went out and he found my car key and he tried to straighten as best as he could to get it to work. And then it took him a long time. I was talking to his mother, and he finally was able to get the car key straight enough where I could start it. But I ended up having to get a new key after that because, I mean, the key just never really worked. But he got it to work that time. So I went and met her at Walgreens. I waited there for a while and turned my car key off. I could never get started again after that with the key. And she ended up taking me to her job the next day and was like, I was telling her the story of what happened. Like after I finally calmed down, it took forever for me to calm down. I was in shock in what happened. And I told her, and she was like, oh, thank goodness he didn't hit you with his fist. And that's where the breakdown was and how I got sucked back into the cycle. And how come I didn't dump him that day? Because she justified his actions. Therefore, I started to justify his actions. It's like, well, maybe you're right. Maybe, you know, it was an accident and he didn't mean to do it. Which is, again, totally true. He did not mean to do that. He meant to throw all that stuff at me. He meant to kick the dresser at me. He meant to do all of that, throw all my stuff out, break everything so I couldn't call, break my car key so I couldn't actually even go anywhere, and then he meant to do every single thing of it, but he did not mean for me to get so hurt that my face would look like that. But that's how the abuse cycle is. You get justified, and because his mother justified it, I started to justify it. And I think I ended up getting back together with him that day because I thought to myself, yeah, you're right, it was an accident, it wasn't so bad. He didn't mean to do it. It wasn't supposed to be like that. And that's exactly how I get sucked into it. So for those of you out there that witness someone and you think that they might be in an abusive relationship, you really need to take initiative because they're already trying to justify why they're with this person. So if you give them any reasons to justify it, they're going to jump all over that because that's just how our brains work. We love these people and we want to make it work with these people, and then we justify on how they're able to hurt us by saying it's an accident when it ain't. So if you see someone that has a black eye and they say, oh, it's an accident, it's not. Get them out of there because they're not sure enough to do it themselves. So you really need to take initiative and say, like, I'm coming to get you today and we're going to get your stuff out of there. So yeah, that's how I got sucked back into my abusive cycle, is because it got justified by his own mother, and therefore I justified it and I forgave him and hopped back with him, and I only got hurt again later, but more on that later.